everyone, today we're taking a look at new Dior. Now I do have the Plan de Paris collection, all 4 quads. I did a video quite some time ago with the L'Artois, which is the blue quad. Quint, sorry. I have the other 3 now. I have the liners, I have the case, and I have the case for the foundation. And I'm happy to do a video on that, and I can show you those in today's video just so you can see them. However, I know that many people have done videos on the Plan de Paris collection. If you're interested in seeing the other quints and you want me to do eye looks with them and do reviews, happy to do that. But today we're going to focus on the foundation stick, the contour stick, which again I have showed you in tan, but I now have it in light, and then the glow, blush, and highlighter, and the contour and highlighter, which are new to Dior. So first let's take a look at the Dior Forever Skin Perfect. This is a multi-use foundation stick. There are 18 shades available. It is $52 and it says 24-hour wear and hydration. There, as I said, it has 18 shades. I picked 0N. I think the shade is a little light for me, but looking at the shades available, I think the undertone is correct. So maybe 1 neutral is actually a better shade for me. I'll have to see how I think this works. You guys give me your thoughts. Depending on what you guys think, maybe I get the 1N. I think right at this point, I'm just trying to decide whether or not I like it enough to get another shade in it. So let's put it on the face and see what we think. Now I'm going to do it 2 ways. I'm going to put it directly on the face here. On this side, I'm just going to swatch it on so you can see, and then I'll use the brush, put it on the stick on the other side. So 2 things I would say is that it glides effortlessly. It's very smooth, very silky. I had absolutely no problems with that. 2, there is a strong scent to this. If it's roses, I'll take a look at the information in just 1 second and we'll see if it says what kind of scent it is, but it's definitely a perfume. It's not like a natural occurring scent. It's a perfume. I'd also say my skin is not in the best of shape right now because I am recovering from COVID. And thank you to everyone for all your nice words. I'm still recovering, which is why I don't have on, like, you know, all the nice clothes and the jewelry and stuff. I couldn't get there. So my skin is suffering from the fact that for the last week I have not done my usual routine because it just didn't even feel well enough to do basic stuff. So, you know, washing my face and making sure it was extra moisturized and all those things just did not happen. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. I usually have problems with foundation sticks because they're too dry. My skin tends to lean dry, so that is the problem that I have more often than not. Okay, so I would say, and I've used this before, I've tried it out a couple times. The color, although it looks light at first when you saw it on my hand, it actually blends into my skin pretty well. I am extremely pale. So I don't know if the 0N is the wrong shade. It might actually be 0N. It's a little light, but I might not have an exact match. I think the undertone is right though. I don't think I need a cooler shade. I don't think I need the 1CR. I think the 0N or 1N is right for me. So like I said, if I really like the foundation and I like the way it wears, then I'll probably invest in the 1N. Or if I can get into a store, then, you know, that would be the perfect thing. But this was not available in store anywhere, at least not by me. Everywhere that I saw it, it was only online. So now we're trying with a brush, which is the way that as a makeup artist, if I'm talking from that lens, I would say is the better way to do it. Because you can control where you're putting it better and how much you're using. I know we see all those things on social media with people putting things directly on their face, like you know, foundation bottles and stuff and they squeeze it on their face, that's really not, it's really not a good way to apply pretty much anything. Measure it out, put it on the back of your hand. That's another way to do it. Put it on the back of your hand or put it directly on the brush. You're going to get a much better, in my opinion, you're going to get a much better application that way than trying to put it up directly on your skin. So I definitely like the way it looks with the brush this side of my face than this side, because this looks smoother. Can you see how it looks like more seamless, where this can look a little heavy? And it's probably because I put a little too much on my face, because it's hard to tell when you're just swatching it on how much you need. But if you're putting it on your brush, it's, you know, it's easier to see. I don't think it looks bad directly on the skin. I just think it looks better if you put it on the brush first. Yeah, see what I mean by the color? Like, I actually think the 0N is pretty good. So, just a couple things about the stick. It says it's a makeup skincare hybrid. I would agree that this has a skincare feel to it. It's definitely more silky smooth than foundation sticks that I'm, you know, usually thinking of. It says, lets your skin breathe while providing continuous hydration. Soft, lightweight texture, very true. Blends easily, seamlessly, fusing into skin, 24-hour comfort. It does feel very comfortable. I don't, you know, it doesn't feel heavy or anything like that. Nothing, you know, itchy or like cakey about it. It does feel very smooth. It feels like serum, like there's like a serum in it or something like that. Sunflower seed wax, mica, there's mica in here, silica, iris florentina root extract. I don't even know what that is. Perfume. There is perfume in here and you can smell it. I mean, it's a pleasant smell, but for anyone who doesn't want, you know, perfume in their makeup, in their foundation especially, this definitely has a scent to it. Now, I think as you can see, as it's sitting in, as it's sinking in, it actually looks a little bit lighter than darker, which is interesting. But like I said, I really do like this. I like the way it feels. It does feel hydrating. It does feel very comfortable. I'll have to continue to wear it and continue to see if I like it enough to really want to spend the money, get another one, or if I can try it in a store, like I said. It is $52 and it's 10 grams. So it's about the same size as a lot of the stick foundations that I have. 10 grams, by the way, is 0.35 ounces. The Tom Ford is 0.5 ounces, so it's bigger. I think it's more expensive. The Westman Atelier is 0.31 ounces, so very similar size. And the Merit is smaller, but this is the original. So I don't know what the new one is. I think it's a little bit bigger. But they're reasonably sized the same. But like I said, the Tom Ford one is bigger. So what I would say just off the top about the foundation stick. So the Westman, this is the Westman. I have it in LTA 1, or I think it's 1. Tom Ford I have in 1.5 cream. You can see the Tom Ford is much thicker, bigger. Of these, my favorite of them right now would be the Dior. And the reason is that it is much creamier and much more hydrating than the others. The second would be, if you're just talking about formula, the second would be the Merit. Merit is extremely good. Now, the Merit blends into my skin extremely well. So I'm guessing if I went up to like the 1N in the Dior, I'd probably be good because it does look a lot lighter. You notice how different all the shades are. It's so hard to find like your shade. But yeah, I'd say that the Dior feels silkier. It feels more hydrating. It feels more like a serum, like a skincare plus foundation stick, which is what it is. I mean, supposedly it's a hybrid. So I really love the feel of it, and I have to say I do really like it on my skin. The only reason I say, like, would I just go ahead and buy the one in and, you know, say, well, it's probably right, because the other shades I have are about a shade deeper, is that I don't generally use stick foundations because I used to travel all the time, and stick foundations were great for that, especially. Throw them in your bag, you didn't have to worry about the liquid issue when you travel. I don't travel anymore, and at home, to be very honest, I use like a tinted moisturizer like Lisa Eldridge. That skin enhancer has become like my favorite thing. I do still use the Chanel tint as well, and I have a couple of tinted moisturizers I use. But again, I don't know if I would use this enough to spend another $52 to get a deeper shade. It would depend. Like, I think I would have to try it in store to see if it is the right color. And if it was exactly the right color, then yes. I really like the stick. It's extremely good. If you have like drier skin especially, I think you're gonna really, really like it. I have not had it for very long. So I always do update videos. You guys know that if you've watched me for a while. I always do update videos on any major thing that I'm trying out. So I'll have an update video in a month or so, what I think about it and how it lasts, and, you know, whether it settles and all of those things. But at the moment, I can say, just off the top of using it a couple of times, I really like the formula. It's very hydrating. It feels very comfortable. It goes on very easily. It does have a scent. It's $52, and it's about a third of an ounce, which is about the size of the Westman Atelier, if you're trying to look at it from that point of view. Again, if I was going to pick between the Westman, the Tom Ford, the Merit, and the Dior, right now I would pick the Dior on formula. Merit would be very, very close though, guys. Very, very close. I love the Merit stick. It's phenomenally good. I mean, really. The Merit shade is much better for me. This is a little bit light, I think. I think it's just a little bit too light. I don't think it's super light, but in the winter it's probably going to be fine. But right now, it's a little light. Now, before we get to the contour sticks and the glows, I do want to mention what I have on my eyes is very little. I have on the Platinum Cobalt Blue liner. And I posted this on Instagram. And this shade is a beautiful shade. It is a grayish blue with pearlescent and a little bit of sparkle. Not a lot of sparkle, I promise you. It's not glittery or anything like that. It's one of my favorite liners that Dior has done. And that's saying a lot because I'm generally not the biggest Dior liner fan. I usually go for Chanel or Tom Ford. Well, the old Tom Fords. They don't exist anymore. But this is extremely good, and I really, really like the color. I also have the Dior in Pearly Bronze, which I showed you guys. So I'm going to put these on the back of my hand just so you guys can see them. Two things I'd also say about these new liners is that they really stay on, like really, really well. Because I have had COVID, I have been washing my hands even more than usual. And one day I was washing my hands and I was, doing this, but I didn't necessarily get the back of my hand. And I realized as I was looking, like, this blue just stayed on there. Like, it was faded, but it was still there. It was kind of funny. So the Pearly Bronze and the Pearl Blue, the Cobalt, these are both really good. The blue especially, though, I would recommend picking up. Like, I think it's a beautiful shade. I don't know if it's a limited edition, but I know that it's limited because it's available on Harrods right now as I film this. It was on the Dior site in the US and then it was gone, and then it came back and then it was gone. I might get another one. That's how much I like this shade. It's the perfect cobalt blue. And I am somebody who loves blue. And I just think it's a great, like, just accent. If you look at my eyes, all I have on my eyes is a basic, beige shade, and the blue liner and mascara. That's it. And it's the perfect accent if you're trying to do something just a little bit, but you don't have time, or you don't want to, it's really that beautiful, and it stays on extremely well. The contour stick. Now, I've showed you the contour sticks before in tan, and today I have the tan and I have the light, and I will tell you that they are both great shades. The tan works really well as a highlighter, as a bronzer. I think it's great as that. And I think the light is going to be very much a contour shade for me. I think it's going to look great. I also think it looks very similar to some other contour shades that I have. So we're going to test it out right here before I put them on my face. And I'm going to use very little of it when I put it on my face today, because I want to also show you the contour and highlighter and the bronze and the blush and highlighter that come in these packages. So, Dior came out with a lot for their quote fall collection with the Plan de Paris on top of that, which I think is just really interesting. So as I showed you in the swatches, here's light, which is a very mushroomy kind of shade. And I'm just doing like one swatch. I'm not even like building these up. They are super pigmented. They do sheer out, absolutely, but you can see like just one swatch. Then we have the Rare Beauty. We have Happy Soul, and then we have Bright Side. Bright Side's a little warmer, and Happy Soul is definitely warmer, but Bright Side's a little warmer than the new Dior Light. And then we have, of course, Westman. And then we have, of course, Westman, who started it all in Biscuit. I'll put it here so we can. Very similar. Very similar. It's a little warmer, though, actually. This one by Dior in Light is actually still a little cooler. And then this is my favorite for like contouring the nose. It's the Victoria Beckham. I just think it's a really good, if you're just trying to do something small and you don't want to have too much, it's a great contour. And again, it has more of this kind of vibe, more of the tan, not as light as this. So the new Dior Light is actually cooler even than the Biscuit. Here's Biscuit up above, and here's, I'm sorry, get marked on my arm. And here's Bright Side underneath by Rare Beauty. And there are many others out there, guys. Like, I realize that, I'm just comparing a few, but these are the ones that I find that I really like and I use all the time. So it's really good, actually, because I don't even have a shade this cool. Okay, again, my preference to use this is with a brush, because I feel like you get a lot more control that way. You can put this right on your face, just like you did the foundation stick. I think it's a very similar feel. It's very pigmented. The question will be whether this is too cool for you, and you don't want that much of a cool contour. Contours need to be cool, definitely, in my opinion. That's what a contour is. But it's not going to be for everybody, and not everybody likes that. There's a lot of people who, although, they have a contour, they want it to be warmer than this. I am thrilled with it, and I love it, but not everybody will. So I'm just going to take the excess, because I actually pulled in way too much, because I didn't realize that it's that pigmented, which it is, which is great. I'm used to having to build it up a little more. Like most products, you have to build up a little more. But this will be great for this type of thing too. Like the whole idea when people talk about like contouring your neck, you want to have a shadow. You want it to be cool leaning. If it's too warm, that doesn't work, because the sun is not going to hit you here unless you're sunning yourself in a very odd way. One other thing to mention really quickly, the tops of the contour have the silver Dior pattern, whereas the foundation has the black matte top. So you can at least tell the difference if you're looking at the top of it. I've done videos with the tan. Hopefully I remember to link them. Who knows with the brain that I have at the moment, to be very honest with you guys, from the from the COVID and other things is not the best, but I'll do my best. I will use, this is the Dior Champ de Rose that came in the Plan de Paris, which I did demonstrate, just so I have a little bit of lipstick on while we put on the blush and the contour. The contour stick is also $47, whereas the foundation stick is $52, and there are 4 shades available. I have the light and according to the site, it is waterproof and stands up to heat and humidity. It absolutely does stand up to heat and humidity, but it says waterproof. I don't know if it's waterproof, but it is water resistant, or how about sweat resistant, because I've tested the tan and it worked well. All right, let's talk about the highlight, blush, highlight, contour. Okay, so one is called, well, they're all called Rouge Blush Color and Glow. There are 6 shades available. They're called blush and glows, blush colors and glows. That's what they're called. But multi-use face palette. So the 3 shades in the ones that look like blush to me, are Dior Riviera, Dior Amore, and Dior Ret. Then the ones that look bronzer to me-ish are Wild Dior, Diorissimo, and Diorama. Now, they look bronzer to me because, well, actually, it's more the Diorama and the Diorissimo. I should say the Wild Dior looks like it's blush because it's more burgundy than it is brown. So I should rephrase. There are 4 shades that look like blush and 2 shades that look like contour or bronzer to me. Now, looking at the site right now, the Dior site, which is, I think, exclusive to the Dior site at the moment, anyway, as I'm filming. I'm assuming these are coming to other stores. Everything is in stock except for the blush glow in the Dior Amore, which is the purple pink. The one that I picked up was the Dior Riviera, which is a little bit more peach. And you can see by the swatches, I wouldn't be afraid of the intensity because it's actually, I don't think it's that deep. I don't think either one is. So it'll be interesting to see the other shades. I would pick up the pink and purple one, but again, right now it's sold out. So we'll see if it comes to other stores and how much I like the formula and how much I'm actually using it. Highlighters, as you can see in the swatches, they are similar, but the one in the Diorissimo 100, the one that looks more like a contour bronzer to me, it's smoother, it's golder, and then the one in, here's the one in the bronzer, and here's the one in the blush, it's more, it looks piecier to me. Like it's not as silky. Now I have no idea if that's just this particular palette, because again, I only have one of each kind. But it does seem that the one in the bronzer is smoother and the one in the blush is a little grittier. Again, I don't know what that means, but they seem really nice. Like they work really well on the skin, you're about to see. But I will be interested to see if all of them feel like that or just maybe it's this one. That's the whole thing about sometimes you get one and it's just, you know, a little off. It happens. All right, so let's use 100. We'll use the highlighter, the glow in here. And I'm just gonna literally, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's more golden though. I generally like a cooler highlighter. I like more of a icy or pinkish, but that's still a gorgeous, this is beautiful. Nothing I can really complain about there. Let's take the highlighter from the Dior Riviera, which is $267, and see if it just comes off a little, like I said, piecier. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, it looks more glittery on the skin. I don't think you can really see it on camera. It's glittery. It's more glittery to me. Now, again, this might just be this one, but if I put it on top, you can see This has more like glitter. It's not piecey. It doesn't feel, there's not pieces of glitter. It just feels a little rougher to me. And it does look different. It does look different on the skin than this. Now the shades are a little different, but I mean the finish, it's a little different. I don't know exactly what the difference is, but there's a little bit of a difference. Again, this is shade 100. It's pretty light. I think it would work for someone like me. I don't think it's going to work for much deeper because it's a very, very light, almost cool leaning blush slash bronzer. I mean, it is described as multi-use. So, you know, again, I already have on the contour. So, but you can see it definitely deepened that up. I really like the formula in the 100, in the Diorissimo. I really, really like the highlighter in there and the bronzer contour. I think it's very smooth. I really, really like it. I like the bronzer color more than I like the highlighter color, but I still think the highlighter is very beautiful. And I think it over the highlighter, it looks really nice. The powder texture is quite beautiful. It really does blend extremely well. It says, one highlighter infused with multi-dimensional pearlescent pigments to illuminate the skin with spectacular light. And then the other is a matte to add color and structure. So maybe just the one in the 100 just doesn't have as much pearlescent. Maybe that's what it is. But it doesn't seem as reflective, as glittery. Again, it's not glittery. There's not pieces of glitter, guys. But it does feel, and I feel like it looks a little bit different. And in the description, it does say, brings together a matte powder, either a blush or a contour. So that's why it's cool leaning. Multi-dimensional pearlescent pigment. So that's why it's a little bit piecey. It's the pearlescent pigments. Again, it's not glittery. Wasn't the best way to describe it, but it does have, the one in this particular one does have a little bit more of that than the one in the 100. But it works beautifully as a bronzer for someone like me who doesn't really want a very warm bronze. All right, now we're going to take the blush. That's extremely nice. Now, I know you guys are going to be asking how these compare to the Chanel's, the Berry and Light and the Peach and Glow. I forget the names. Peach and Gold. And I will do a comparison and give you my thoughts. But I can tell you right now, based on the way that it goes on, the Chanel is a little smoother and a little more forgiving from the highlighter perspective. The highlighters in there are less, at least for the Dior Riviera, less, the pearlescent can accentuate texture. So the Chanel ones that just came out for summer, they are more forgiving for skin, if you're talking about the highlighter part. The blushes, though, are very similar in formula. They both sink in the skin extremely well and are very, very blendable. Difference, of course, is that the Chanel's, there are two different shades, Berry and Light and Peach and Glow, and here you have 4 different, what I'm calling blush and highlighters, and then 2 contour and highlighter shades. So there's more options from the Dior. Plus, the Dior's are $50. So for 8 grams. It's a beautiful look, there's no doubt. I would just say, to me, this one has a little bit more pearlescent than this one, which is the 100. But the blush, the matte blush on top of it, I mean, it just looks stunning. So those are all the products for today. Again, there's going to be update videos and I'll do comparisons with the Dior and the Chanel. Let me know if you want to see more of the Plan de Paris collection, the other quads that I did, quints that I didn't do. There's more videos coming. Sorry that I didn't get the Plan de Paris up when I planned the overall collection, but unfortunately it was stuck in New York for quite some time. Long story if you don't want to know. So if you have any questions, if you have any specifics about any of the products that I tried out today or any of the Dior in general or anything else, just let me know. Look forward to seeing you in another video really soon.